Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Thomas Gofton looking at Terminator Genisys Rise of the Resistance from River Horse. That was in my head as soon as this hit the table. So, Thomas, you're with Lynn Vander Studios, design group, designed a few different games for different publishers.
That's right. River Horse happening to be one of them.
Okay, maybe you talk about this.
Terminator Genisys. Well, first let's get the big purple elephant out of the room. No connection to Space Go Productions whatsoever, but Terminator. That's very important. But Terminator Genisys is an action-packed miniatures battle game that requires you to have some fun with these cool boards we have. Giant missions that you go through, and you are playing as the leaders of the Resistance: John Connor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I should say the Guardian, as we call him, Alex and Kyle Reese. And much like in Genisys the movie, you are trying to get the time machine to send Kyle Reese back in time, much like in the original Terminator. And this entire game, even though it says Terminator Genisys, the game only takes place in 2029.
Okay.
So this is all about the Resistance
It's all leading
war.
up to that initial part, getting to the time machine.
In fact, at the end of the game, when you get to the time machine, which I don't have the tile out right now, but when you get to the time machine, I think this is it. No, that's not it. When you get to the time machine, that's the end of the game. Once you basically defeat the final boss, the Rise of Resistance.
And if you don't get to the time machine,
then you're
also
all
the
dead.
end of the game.
And we got all kinds of cool minis and stuff like that you can play. And it's a miniature tactics game. You will get the T800s and a bunch on the board, and you're completing various missions. Very dungeon crawly, dice assignment game, so you're rolling dice, and you're assigning them to various abilities and stuff. As you can see, attack. Oh, that's the attack dice, sorry. You're rolling D6s, and you're assigning the D6s to various areas on your character board, your equipment, on the board itself, and you are creating your team going through the mission and trying to succeed. And then, of course, the combat mechanic is, in fact, these dice where you're rolling and trying to get hits, resistance icons, and the Terminator faces, which are kind of bad.
Okay. So you're going to have multiple missions, all leading up to trying to get to the time machine.
It's campaign-driven. So in between each of the missions, you have, written by Catalyst's John Helfers, writer for Shadowrun and for Battletech, you will have these missions that go through. There's fiction, original fiction written through the voices of John Connor and the Guardian and Kyle Reese, explaining things going through. You get your mission set up, and then you get into your missions, and as you're discovering your waypoints throughout the mission, when you reveal them, which in most games, when you reveal a waypoint, it's when the game is fighting back, there's actually some script that's been written for the characters to kind of flare up and describe what's happening, and then it tells you what to do in the game, and then the game starts to kick your butt, and you just keep going.
Okay.
And all the way to the end.
Okay. All right. 1 to 4 players.
1 to 4 players.
All cooperative and all of it.
Fully cooperative. You can play it solo if you'd like.
Okay. Because we're before the John Connor reveal.
That's right.
In the movie.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay.
He's a good guy in this one.
Have an expansion?
We have an expansion. So what else is interesting about this is Follow Skynet. It is an expansion that has brand new characters canonical to the Terminator universe. We were allowed to create some new characters that participate in. If you've watched Genisys, spoiler alert if you haven't, there's a scene when the Resistance, John Connor, are fighting, and you see they're about to get overwhelmed by the machines, and all of a sudden the machines shut down, and you hear soldiers yelling, "Colorado mission completed! Colorado mission succeeded!" And we don't hear anything else about that. But in canonical Terminator, Colorado Mission was a group that went and fought the Terminator mainframe, or the Skynet's mainframe, and they shut it down so that these guys could get access to the time machine and create the Terminator that we all know.
Okay.
We got to create fiction for it, new characters, new story development, and actually do the Colorado missions. Okay. So the Terminator Fall of Skynet, it is actually the Colorado missions. You are playing a unit of brand new characters that are going after Skynet itself and causing the fall in order to then go to do the Terminator Genisys.
Okay.
It's
and this gets integrated with the original base game, so you have an ongoing mission with now like a side mission?
You can play them together, back to back to back to back, because they're kind of doing their missions the same. Okay. This is kind of a standalone product. It's missing T800s and some other things to make it complete, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not playable without that. You just take the models from over here, but otherwise it can be standalone, or you can intermingle any of these characters into any scenario you want. So you could take Luke Roberts and John Connor into the same mission. It's all compatible with each other.
Okay. All right. So there you go. Release date approximation?
Well, we all know that Terminator Genisys was on Kickstarter and did not succeed. We're sorry and sad to hear. But it doesn't mean the game is not being published. Riverhorse, these games are complete, and Riverhorse is publishing the game anyway. There's a pre-order for it on their site, and we do believe that we will have sample copies of the game to play at Gen Con and future conventions like Dragon Con, and we're hoping to release it before Christmas.
Okay, there you go.
That all depends on manufacturing kerfuffles.
Yes, yeah. There's always like
always a caveat.
An asterisk at any release date mentioned at the bottom of the screen.
Q4 is broad.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Thomas.
Thank you.
Great review. Terminator Genisys.
Bum, 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 bum.